Pramila and Giapal and Simone for those wonderful introductions. Guys, thank you very much. Brothers and sisters, what a turnout. Thank you so much for being here. It doesn't seem true, but we began this campaign about 3.5 months ago, and the momentum has been unbelievable. Turnouts in Burlington, Vermont, in Denver, in Minneapolis, in Madison, in Phoenix, in Portland, Maine, in New Orleans. But I want to tell you something tonight. We got 12,000 people here. 3,000. Said hello to 3,000 people outside. You know, the media asks me, they say, well, what's going on? Why do so many people come out? Why do you have more individual campaign contributors than any other campaign? Last week did we have 3,700 organizational meetings all across this country, 100,000. And the answer is pretty simple. The answer for why people are rising up is that all across this country, people are sick and tired of establishment politics, establishment economics, and they want real change. The people of America understand that corporate greed is destroying our country, that American politics is now dominated by big money interests, and that much of the mainstream media is prepared to talk about everything except that is what is most important. The other point that I want to make in opening is to tell you that this campaign differs from any other campaign because I will be very honest with you and tell you what few tell you. And that is no president can do it alone. No one person in the White House can take on Wall Street, corporate America. Together, we need a grassroots political movement from the west to the east, which tells the big money interests this country, our government, belong to all of us, not just a handful. Say a brief word now, because you've heard a lot from the people who came before me about institutional racism and criminal justice reform. Let me be very brief and say this. As somebody who has one of the strongest lifetime civil rights records in the United States Congress, no president will fight harder to end the stain of racism in this country and reform our criminal justice system, period. Brothers and sisters, today we are living in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. But almost nobody knows that because almost all of the wealth rests in the hands of the few. The United States now has more income and wealth inequality than any major country on earth, and it is worse today than at any time since 1928. The issue of wealth and income inequality is the great moral issue of our time. It is the great political issue of our time. It is the great economic issue of our time, and together we will address it. Profoundly wrong when the top 1/10 of 1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. There is something profoundly wrong when 58% of all new income goes to the top 1%. There is something profoundly wrong when we have seen in recent years a proliferation of millionaires and billionaires while the average American works longer hours for lower wages, and we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of any major country. That is wrong. That is unacceptable. That will change. That works for working families and the middle class, not just a handful of billionaires. This campaign is sending a message to the billionaire class. And that message is simple and straightforward. You cannot have it all. Huge tax breaks when children in America go hungry. You cannot continue to send our jobs abroad when millions of Americans are in desperate need of work right here. Profits in the Cayman Islands and Bermuda, you will pay your fair share of taxes. Billionaire class cannot take advantage of all of the benefits of America if they do not accept their responsibilities as Americans. But the economic crisis that we face is not just the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality. We've got to be honest and understand that for the last 40 years, the great middle class of this nation, once the envy of the entire world, that great middle class is disappearing. Despite exploding technology and increased worker productivity, median family income is almost $5,000 less today than it was in 1999. In my state of Vermont, in your state of Washington, people are working not one job, they're working 2 jobs, they're working 3 jobs, trying to cobble together some income and some health care. That is not an American economy. We can and must do much better than that. And when we talk about the economy and what's happening to working families, it is important for you to understand that real unemployment is not the 5.3% which the newspapers report. That's official unemployment. Real unemployment includes those people who have given up looking for work and the millions of people who are working part-time when they want to work full-time. Real unemployment in America is almost 10.5%.
Yeah.
And here is something else that almost nobody discusses, but it is a huge, huge issue. You know, one of the fun things about running for president is you can raise issues that other people choose not to talk about. Let me talk about one issue. And that is that today we have a horrendous tragedy in terms of youth unemployment in America. Last month, I asked the Economic Policy Institute to do a study for us. And what they found is that for kids who graduated high school between the age of 17 and 20, if they were white, real unemployment and underemployment was 33%. If they were Hispanic, real unemployment was 36%.
Yep.
If they were African American, real unemployment is 51%. Now, there is no excuse for the United States of America having more people in jail than any other country on earth, more than China. This is a failure of our criminal justice system, a failure of our educational system, and a failure of our economy. But I will tell you this. It makes more sense to me to be investing in jobs and education for our kids than in jails and incarceration. States to continue to have the ugly distinction of having more people in jail. I want the United States to have the proud distinction of having the best educated population on earth. Lives have been destroyed by the so-called war on drugs. Too many lives have been destroyed by incarceration. We need to educate. We need to put people to work. And when we talk about the economy, it is also important to put on the table that tens of millions of our people are working today at totally inadequate low wages. The current federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour is a starvation wage and must be raised. Congratulate the people of Seattle, your city council, and all those who stood up and said that we need a living wage for workers, $15 an hour. You did it in Seattle. We are now going to do it for the entire country. Truth is, not a radical idea, is that no person who works 40 hours a week should be living in poverty. And when we talk about fair wages, I want every man in this room to stand with the women of this country, the men. You know, many Republicans talk about family values. You've heard them talking about family values?
Yeah.
You just heard them the other night in the debate. They just love families. Well, I've got 4 kids. I've got 7 beautiful grandchildren. My wife and I have been married for 27 years. We believe in family. Our view of family values is just a little bit different. Now, when the Republicans talk about family values, let's be clear about what they're talking about. They believe that women in America should not have the right to control their own bodies. I disagree. They believe that women in America should not have the right to buy the contraceptives they need. I disagree. They believe that our gay brothers and sisters should not have the right to get married and enjoy all of the benefits of being Americans. I disagree. My view of family values, and that is that the United States must end the international embarrassment of being the only major country on earth, the only one, which does not guarantee workers paid medical and family leave. Real family values, and that is that today in the state of Washington, in the state of Vermont, a woman is having a baby. It is an extraordinary day for that woman. for her family and a pretty big day for the baby as well. But here's the point. Here is the point. If that woman, if that family has sufficient income, that mom and the dad will be able to stay home for weeks and months, getting to know and love their baby, getting to bond with their baby. Something, for those of you who have kids know, is the most extraordinary moments of our lives. But if that mom does not have sufficient income, she will be forced to go back to work in 3 days, 5 days, 8 days. She will be separated from that baby she just bore. Separating a mom from her baby because she does not have sufficient income to stay home is not a family value. It is the opposite. That is why I will fight for 12 weeks of paid family leave. Must also join the rest of the industrialized world in understanding a few points. And that is that in our country today, you may know this, you may not know this, but because of the collapse of our middle class, the people of America work longer hours than do the people of any other country. And yet, despite the fact that 85% of men are working more than 40 hours, 65% of women are working more than 40 hours. There are jobs that are being offered today that provide zero, none paid vacation time. And that is why I will fight for 10 days paid vacation time for every worker in America. Country on earth not guaranteeing sick time for our working people. When we talk about the economy and when posters go out, they call you up and they say, what is uppermost on your mind? What do you feel most strongly about? Invariably, what the American people say is a 4-letter word, J-O-B-S. People understand how fragile the economy is. They understand that if you're 55, you can be replaced tomorrow by somebody half your age and half the wages. They understand that if you're young, how hard it is to get a job, especially a job equivalent to your education. People... The federal government needs to develop a massive federal jobs program to put our people back to work. All over this country, our infrastructure, our roads, bridges, rail, airports, wastewater plants, water plants, levees and dams are crumbling. We used to have the best infrastructure in the world. Now we are far below many other countries. Let us invest, and I've put forward legislation, $1 trillion over 5 years, rebuild our infrastructure, create up to 13 billion good-paying jobs. Building and repairing our rail system, our airports, our levees, our dams. improving our bridges, improving our roads. We can make America safer, more efficient, more productive. Let's do it. Talk about jobs. It's not only the need to create millions of decent paying jobs, it is the need to stop the loss of jobs because of our disastrous trade policies. You are looking at a senator and a former congressman who voted against NAFTA, against CAFTA, against permanent normal trade relations. And you're looking at a senator who will do everything he can to defeat this disastrous TPP. To trade which works for working families, not just the CEOs of large corporations. And when we use such words as greed, recklessness, illegal behavior, arrogance, these are just some of the words to describe Wall Street. We bailed out Wall Street because they destroyed the American economy and because they were, quote unquote, too big to fail. Today, most of the major banks are bigger now than they were when we bailed them out because they were too big to fail. My view is pretty simple. If a bank is too big to fail, it's too big to exist. We got to break them up. That is part of the economy that makes affordable loans to small and medium-sized businesses, that helps us create jobs, helps people buy homes, not charge us outrageous interest rates on our credit cards, not be an island unto itself whose only goal is to make outlandish profits. Let's break them up. Friends, let me be as blunt and straightforward in telling, if I haven't been already, in telling you what I think most of you already know. And that is, as a result of the disastrous Supreme Court decision in the Citizens United case. The American political system has been totally corrupted. And make no mistake about it, the foundations of American democracy are being undermined. What the Supreme Court said to the wealthiest people in this country, said, all right, guys, you already own much of the economy. Now we're going to let you buy the United States government, and that is exactly what they are trying to do. We have a situation where one family, the extreme right-wing Koch family, a family that believes in ending Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the Environmental Protection Agency, the U.S. Postal Service. That's their agenda. That one family will spend almost $1 billion on this campaign to elect candidates who represent the rich and the powerful. When one family can spend and is spending more money than either the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, brothers and sisters, that is not called democracy. That is called oligarchy. And that is why we have got to overturn Citizens United. Made many promises during this campaign, but let me repeat one promise that I have made, and that is any nominee of mine to the U.S. Supreme Court will, in fact, have to pass a litmus test. That litmus test is that he or she will vote as soon as possible to overturn Citizens United. People here tonight and others, regardless of their political views, conservatives, moderates, progressives, I want to see people say, you know what, I have a set of ideas. This is what I believe for my state, for my country. I'm going to run for office based on my ideas, not based on the amount of money I collect from billionaires. In D.C., I was at a meeting, at a function, at an event with Martin Luther King III and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, a major civil rights group. And they were there to honor and acknowledge the 50th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act in this country, a huge step forward. But they were also there, and I was also there, to say loudly and clearly that the Supreme Court's gutting of the Civil Rights Act 2 years ago is unacceptable. If you can believe it, and how sad this is, literally hours after the Supreme Court ruled, you had states going to work, trying to pass legislation, making it harder for people of color, poor people, and older people to vote. How disgraceful. Now, I'm a politician and I run for office. Sometimes I win and sometimes I lose. But it has never ever occurred to me to figure out a way to keep people from voting because they disagree with me. And let me say as clearly as I can, those people who are trying to keep their fellow Americans from voting, coming up with these phony voter fraud concerns. Those people are political cowards who don't have the guts to defend their ideas. vote for you. Don't try to prevent others from participating in the democracy. Today in America, all of you know, we are living in a highly competitive global economy. And if we are going to succeed, we need the best educated workforce in the world.